The terrorists could be after whatever they do in there. Or they could just want money. We don't know.
The terrorists could be after whatever it is that they do in there, or they could just want money, Roger. We don't know.
Hello and welcome back to the 163rd episode. Good, Bad, or Bad Show. Watch terrible movies, tell you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilligo, joined once again, and as always, by the other host of this illustrious show, Mr. Kyle Hitton. Kyle, welcome back. We're talking about, we don't have a theme. We're in between holidays right now. So we're
back to formula.
Back to just doing whatever random movies we come across.
This was a suggestion.
Yes, it was.
From a patron.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
I looked at this when I was looking for movies and I was like, I'll pass. Maybe Kyle wants to do this one.
Okay, so it's all like the 90s, 80s schlock that I like.
Yeah.
But without any of the competency or fun.
I would, none of the fun. Well, I would, okay.
There's a few parts.
There's a few parts at the end that are fun, I think.
And by the way, there's only two people in this movie that are enjoyable. That's Frank Stallone, who at least does a serviceable job, and then Richard Lynch, who's just a fun villain guy.
He's a great villain. I would argue that what's her name, David Carradine's daughter, is pretty fun too. That is David Carradine's daughter, Clarina Carradine.
Oh no!
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. The bad mercenary lady. Bitch. But yeah, so what we should say what the fucking movie is, Kyle. What is this movie called?
Total Force.
Total Force.
Total Force. How can you fight what can't be seen?
Which I don't know if you looked. There's a sequel.
Yes,
called Absolute Force.
Yes, what is?
Amazing.
Maybe in the future.
Amazing. I love it. So 1996, as you said, written and directed by Stephen Kamen.
Kind of doesn't exist. A little bit, because like if you look, he has a different name on IMDb.
Wait, what?
For his cinematography work.
Oh, does he? Because that's what I was saying. Yeah. He has mostly cinematography credits and then like a few writer-director credits, like this and like one other. Oh, and Absolute Force and like one other movie.
Of course.
But he has like 40 cinematography credits.
You're gonna act like they didn't double dip into this after the rousing success of Total Force?
Total Force. But yeah, so the writer-director is primarily a cinematographer, which is
shocking
considering the camera work in this film.
But then again, I mean, we go back to our areas of cinematography that's just mind-blowing. We had the guy who was the director of the DP for Battlefield Earth directed Hell or High Water.
Yes. Hell or High Water.
What?
The DP is wild. Doesn't make any sense. Unfathomable. But somehow it is. But I don't, yeah. And this, I guess, could be, who knows? And I guess if he's directing, he's just like, whoever the cinematographer on this was, he's like, yeah, man, just like, go crazy. Like, literally go fucking insane with the camera. Like, literally lose your fucking mind and all sense of equilibrium or inner ear balance.
I just really think if we can, like, submerge the camera in, like, some form of mineral oil for the shot, that'd be great.
And then can we tie it to a rope and just spin it around in circles while it's filming? Fucking, this movie gave me a headache, Kyle. Watching this movie. By the way, I feel like we need to like an epilepsy warning for this movie.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Here's your warning, because you are going to either vomit or, God forbid, seizure uncontrollably.
Yeah, it is chaos, man. Oh my God.
Of Wellington Route 5. The new era is here.
Doc Wellington.
X-16.
Senator Williams. Congratulations.
But we open up on some cinematography not filmed by our crew. It's shot by NASA. It is like footage of one of the space shuttles deploying some satellite or something. And so they purchased some stock assets from the military or NASA or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works, because like a lot of the NASA stuff is like public domain, but I don't think you can just use it in any movie. I don't know how that works legally though.
I think you have to like submit for a permit.
Yeah, I would imagine it's something like that.
I think it just like there's the cost of processing, but I don't think there's a cost for like each thing.
But you would think that NASA would be like, They wouldn't just let anybody.
We got to get that money.
Well, not even that. I was just gonna say like they wouldn't want just
Well, I think
anybody
that would
using
be-
their shit.
Yeah, and that would be the
Yeah.
processing fees and everything.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
like, hey, we need to make sure you're good to use.
Yeah, and not just like some crazy person or something. Yeah, I don't know because it is. But anyway, so we open up on some satellite or whatever. We'll find out later that this is the Neuralator, which is the stupidest fucking name for a weapon
Oh my god.
in a movie in a while.
It turns your brain into mush and turns you into a super strong killing machine.
It turns you into a rage zombie. It's like
Yeah.
basically what happens. So we open with that satellite. Then we cut in. We get our first credit. Frank Stallone's in this movie. Amazing. We'll meet him. He like shows up like 15 minutes in or something like that. But anyways, we kind of get this spiel. I think Wellington is talking, or maybe it's like the voiceover from the video or whatever.
Richard Lynch is the part of Wellington. Richard
Yes.
Lynch, known for playing villains and like basically everything.
He's been in one of our movies, and I couldn't figure out.
It would
what-
not surprise me.
I swear he's been in something we've done.
I'll double back.
I will look my
double
bet.
back
I
and
will
figure out
try to
what it's
find
in.
out and figure out what he's been in. But I swear he's been in something we've done before.
You know what your trouble is, Bob? Please don't. You got no heart.
But anyway, so they're playing like a video that's or something's talking about how like society doesn't have doesn't like it's growing has a growing intolerance of death and destruction.
That the future of warfare no longer lies in conventional or nuclear arms.
From
It's
war.
moving away from conventional warfare.
Yes.
Well, what's past conventional warfare? Destroy the enemy from within.
Space super warfare. So they're moving away from traditional conventional warfare. So they're developing space-based weapons. And I love in this room, we're in like this is the Wellington Research Facility like room where they do their meetings.
Which, okay, I don't know how. Okay, so Wellington, his
Yeah.
way of securing funding
Yes.
is through the government.
Yes.
And his way of schmoozing politicians to support his funding is just like running a brothel out of his research facility.
Yeah. That's the thing that was cracking me up is when we first cut into this, we see these people in this room and it's like a top secret military
Yes.
meeting, and then there's like models
Yes.
just like stand. I was like, what are these models doing there?
That's
What
great,
is-
where they're like, oh yeah, we have this great demonstration of the super secret scientific military stuff from space, and the woman models just there going,
that sounds great, yeah. And I was like, what are they? And then we'll, like I said, we find out, like you said, very very soon after that they are prostitutes essentially there to entertain the senator and others, so that the funding keeps rolling in, basically.
I think you'll find out that Wanda has a real firm grasp of our customer relations policy.
Yeah, well, I bet she does.
But I was like, what is that?
that works in Death Ring because it's an isolated island where a bunch
Yeah.
of rich people come to kill,
Right.
for the most dangerous game. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work
when you're
as
trying
well.
to do, or like maybe it could work with like senators and stuff because
Yeah. Yeah.
But like having that with the top brass of the military just seems out of place.
It does seem a little strange, but hey, whatever. It's fun. So like I said, they introduced the Neuralator. When they said the name, I cracked up for like 5 minutes straight. Just like, are you kidding me? Did a 5-year-old name your fucking weapon? The Neuralator.
Proceed with the Neuralator.
Neuralator launch sequence commencing. Launch codes check. T-minus 10.
Then they also pad their film out a little bit with stock military footage for like 45 seconds. It's like
just-
random missiles.
and like
and-
it feels like a quarter of this film is just Richard Lynch narrating over stock footage.
Yes. Oh, and we'll talk about the narrator.
Oh,
what is
yeah.
Oh my
What-
God, we'll get to that. I have
you
notes.
think that was Steve, the director dude?
Maybe whatever it was, it's one of the most baffling choices we've had in a film in a while, and we'll discuss the
All it
specifics.
is, it's like somebody reading the scene description
Yes.
into a scene.
1327. Jack clears Sector 12. Boris infiltrates Sublevel 1.
Yes, and I have specific notes, details of moments later where I'm like, "Are you what? We'll get to
Yes.
it. We'll fucking get to it." So, anyways, there's I love here. He literally just reads a list of buzzwords and then calls out the fact that he just read a list of buzzwords. He says,
Neurological impulse remapping, psychosurge pulse, particle beam. We all know the buzzwords.
brainwave modification, neurological impulse remapping, psychosurge pulse.
You know what that reminds me of?
particle beam.
Pass through. Neil Breen explaining
Oh yes.
time travel or whatever.
Yeah.
Dark matter, dark energy, quantum physics,
Oh, really? I was thinking, was it Twisted Pair or the one where they're in the boardroom?
Oh, programmable matter.
Programmable matter.
We are on the verge of mind hacking.
Programmable matter.
Psycho surge pulse,
Was it
particle
spam in
beam.
the fucking chat?
Yeah, programmable matter. But he reads this whole list and he goes, "We all know the buzzwords," and I'm like, "Yep, those are just random tech buzzwords.
Yes.
What for you to do?" Okay. But then they're gonna test the neuralator on a person, like on an actual subject. They've done it on animals or rats or something to this point, but they're gonna test it for the first time on a human subject. And they have this guy in a chair, and this was so confusing to me because they're like, "Look at him." And the guy walks in and he like runs away. He's like,
he's like cowering. He's submissive.
Yeah. And he's like, he has no aggression. He's super scared. And I'm like, okay, wait, did the neuralator do that?
Yeah.
Or is that just how that guy is? Did they just find the scaredest man in the world?
They strap him into a chair that was clearly like an asset. I guess Green Mile hadn't been filmed yet. So.
No.
But they strap him into like an electric chair, and a beautiful red beam zaps in. It's
the effect. Well, because we cut to space, and we see the satellite like explodes, and then a laser shoots out of it. There's like an explosion effect, and then it cuts to a shot of the guy's face like on a green screen background, and the laser's like, wow.
It hits him in the head, and then he starts like flickering red.
Yes, it's incredible. Oh, it's so funny. But then he like freaks out, like you said. He turns into like a rage zombie, and they send in
Robert Zadar.
Robert Zadar.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert Zadar.
He's in this one scene. They send him in, and they're like, he's a death row convict or something like that. So and he goes in there, and the neuralated guy just like
murders
breaks his
him.
neck. And he starts bleeding everywhere. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize at first that it was Robert Zadar. And at the end, after he snaps his neck, I was like, holy shit, because he like slides down the wall and is bleeding everywhere. It's like, it was Robert Zadar. Look at that. Oh.
The neuralator dude was supposed to just melt.
They said there's like a self-destruct part of it. And they're like, all right, time for the self-destruct. And then, but they turn off the video feed. And then meanwhile, the neuralated guy runs over to the scientist who's just like in a metal closet and is like banging on the door and like mind melds.
He like screams radiation into the
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad you said that, because that was the note I had. I was like, is this contagious via screaming? Because every time.
It reminds me of Delta Force, I think. Or no. What was the...
Is it Delta Force, the blue collar comedy tours?
That's Delta Farce, I think. But no, Delta Force is actually a Chuck Norris thing. It's the one, Omega Cop, that's it. Where they have like the solar beams that are coming down and radiating people.
Yeah.
They're like, it's affected people, and now it's being transmitted to others. It's like, hey, wait, what?
Yeah, because literally this is a neurological, it affects your brain.
Yes.
And then somehow that is contagious. It makes no sense. It makes literally
like
no sense.
The only thing you'd be like, if they were radioactive, in which case it would affect everybody anyways.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's just nonsense that they were just like, whatever, who cares? We want zombies, basically, without coming up with a zombie or reason for actual zombies that makes any sense. But so he screams it into the scientist, and I love that they all seem oblivious to the fact that the scientist is like freaking out because they just let him go home.
And he does not seem normal at all.
No, he's like losing his mind. He's like clearly fucked up. But they're like, I guess you can go home. But anyway, so he doesn't self-destruct. So they send a guy in with a machine gun to just murder the test subject. Then, meanwhile, he. I mean, we mentioned earlier, but the camera work, and you'll have seen it now several points. Every shot, a la Battlefield Earth, every single shot is a Dutch angle, and half of them are back and forth. Like the camera is just swinging side to side.
It's very nauseating.
It's the worst. It's so like late 90s camera work. It's incredible.
Get Drake down here.
No, not tonight, honey.
For the debrief! Not now.
No, sir, we got Admiral Danton on comlink.
So they're going over the footage.
Yes.
Figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And they see him scream into the room, and they're like, hey, we need to find out what happened to that lab assistant.
Yeah, and then it cuts to his house, and it's like 1700 hours. Lab assistant arrives home.
Yes.
The lab assistant returns to his home.
In which 1700 hours, that'd be 5
p.m. Yeah, it's the end of the
That makes
workday.
sense
Yeah.
because they're watching a
The Super Bowl
game.
or football game. Yeah,
Watching the Packers.
They say the big game, but I assume it's just a random football game. Yeah, they are watching the Packers. But I also love that this like research top secret military lab scientist lives with a bunch of like burnouts.
Yes.
It's like they walks in, they're all like drunk and like on and high and stuff.
Yes,
and
yeah, they're like, oh man, that guy is tweaked. I want what he's having.
I want what he's having, man.
Whatever he's on, I want some.
I'm like, what is the weird? All right, it seems like some weird roommates for this guy to have, but fair enough.
He screams the neuralator stuff into them.
Into them. He like screams at them and they all get infected by it. And then they are able to hack into the TV or something and see this. So they have some camera somewhere that they're able to hack into in the lab assistant's home.
I think the lab assistant had a computer set up that had like a very early webcam.
Like webcam, okay.
And he called into the office. It just happenstance. It's things
Wait,
that
is
occur.
that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought they hacked in.
They said incoming call from this dude.
I missed that. That's wild.
That's like, okay, so that is things happening because the plot needs them to.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not worried about like making things progress in a way that makes sense and follows logically.
But they realize that it's now infected multiple people.
So they got to dispatch total force.
I'm calling this a level 5 emergency. I want total force on the scene ASAP.
Come on, sir, do you think that's real?
Just do it.
Which is just a bunch of divorced dads.
Yeah. They are led by
Drake,
Lieutenant
something Drake. I can't remember what his first name is, but yeah.
He is played by Timothy Bottoms, who is basically Paul Newman with the charisma of Neil Breen.
You know, that is an accurate summation of this actor. You nailed, you pegged him, you got him. He really.
Gonna tell me why I shouldn't be home right now drinking a cold one sitting in front of a 50-inch watching Green Bay kick ass.
I would say he has maybe a modicum more charisma than Neil Breen, but like just barely.
Just
barely.
The minimum.
But he's like a badass who doesn't play by the rules, and he tells the military brass to go blow themselves or whatever, like go fuck themselves, blah blah blah. He's like a hardcore badass.
He has zero redeeming qualities.
No,
he's
zero.
Just a dick throughout this whole
Just
film.
a dick the whole time.
Oh, good. Tell him when it's over, he can blow me.
I'm not going to say that.
It's just code, kid. Relay the message.
But they're like, all right, you got to go in there and kill them all because they're all infected. We can't tell you what, just go murder them all. And they kick the door down.
That's why I love this job.
Just unload on this house full of people, of civilians. It's insane. Well, they just unloaded everybody, and the camera work again during all of this. There's one shot in particular where one of the guys is like searching a room, and one of the infected guys is like hiding in the closet. And we get this. They clearly had two cameras. They had a slightly nicer camera, and then they had a smaller camera that they did crazy shit with, and that shot at a weird frame rate.
Yeah, because it's like jittering like crazy.
It's crazy. But they do this thing where he's like hiding in the closet, and the camera like swings over here and flips upside down, and swings over here, and I'm like, what is happening? It's infuriating.
They have to show that these people are experts in all forms of martial arts, even though they have guns
and stuff, which is mostly what they use. They just shoot people. But I love then at one point the guy's like, go for the head, shoot him in that, because now they really are just zombies apparently. Like you have to shoot them in the head is more effective. Fair enough.
The head, go for the head.
Their brain oozes out tapioca pudding.
I was so disappointed they didn't show that, because the guy's like, ugh, what's going on? He's like, it looks like tapioca pudding coming out of his brain. I was like, come on, give us the gore effect. What are you doing?
Sooner or later, turns the brain to jello.
It was more like tapioca pudding.
What are you doing? But then they shoot the last guy that's alive still after they like the one guy like they're fighting like by the TV or whatever, and they like the guy's trying to watch the game while they're fighting, drinking a beer, yeah. But he like breaks the TV, and then they shoot the last guy, and it cuts to a satellite shot. They have like a thermal imaging satellite shot of the house where you can see the red dots. Yeah. But when they shoot the last guy, it like his dot like explodes on the satellite imagery. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? Makes no sense. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, during this whole end scene in the living room while they're watching the game, the front door's open and it is pouring down rain outside, and it is not raining before they go into the house or after they leave the house. It is just the doors open and it is just pouring down rain. Like clearly what happened is they were going to film something else that day, but it was raining, so like, I guess let's do the interiors for that house.
I guess they had to ADR this then.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pouring rain though. You can see it. Like it's.
I give them credit on that. That's about the only part that seems competent is the ADR.
We're supposed to hit him, not dance with him.
I will say the ADR sounds pretty good overall. Like, because you can tell, and I will say too, they're shooting this on terrible cameras, and it looks like 90s video schlock. But it's lit okay at times. Like, there are lights doing interesting things sometimes in a way that is like...
Sound recorders and ADR post-production. You're the real MVP.
For real. And like I said, there is, like, they light, like, some of the control room scenes and stuff. The light is, like, at least kind of interesting and, like, motivated in a way where you get dramatic shadows and stuff. At least...
like even the research facility looked like it kind of had some interesting like set design and stuff. Nothing of which we get to appreciate or see.
No, because the camera it's all close up. It's all close up. That's the other thing. It's all close ups. Like it almost is like watching. Is it Battlestar Galactica, the remake? They kind of shot. Remember? Did you watch the remake or the newer Battlestar Galactica from like the mid 2000s or whatever? Yeah. It's shot similarly, where it's all like zoom lenses and like I've only watched a handful of episodes of it, but it's all like zoom lenses and it's shot on video and it's like digital, but I don't know. It reminded me a little bit of Battlestar Galactica in the way it was shot, which is either a compliment to the film or a huge insult to Battlestar Galactica. One of the two. I'm not sure which. So after they do this mission, Wellington is like, we got to shut down Total Force because we got to do something and get rid of them.
We need to. They are a liability now
because they know about the weapon failure or whatever. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is like you sent them in because they were the only people debriefed on it. So
yeah. They of course they know, like that's the whole point. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, so he's got to do something about it. So they end up just like firing him. I thought they were gonna kill him or like kill the squad. Or I thought that was gonna be the thing. Is like they like send out an assassin squad to kill them, and then like he's the only one left, and he wants revenge.
Apparently,
no, they just fire him.
Everything Drake owns is owned by the military.
Yeah,
including like
they
his
show
alarm
up
clock
and
and
take
stuff.
all of his shit, and they're like, "This is all property of the government." It's like, is it? All right, fine. But they just take all of his stuff after they fire him. Then, meanwhile, though, Wellington goes to this other guy to hire, and this is where it gets confusing.
They hire Frank Stallone,
Jack O'Hara, international terrorist.
Yes, that's got it. I would love for him to have a business card that says that.
Just pulls it out. It's Jack O'Hara, international terrorist. Yeah, incredible.
International terrorist Jack O'Hara arrives in Los Angeles.
But the reason he's a higher international terrorist is not just to eliminate Total Force, but to also save the Neuralator project, because the Admiral took control of it and is going to destroy.
I did not get that until like the end of the movie.
Yeah, because it doesn't make much sense.
I was like, wait, why does he hire this crew? What are they doing? But yes, what they're doing is they're remapping, and we'll get there later. They reroute when they go to explode the Neuralator, they change it so they explode a different satellite or whatever. Yeah, basically.
Which they're like, it's an obsolete communications. Somebody's got like whatever Turner had back in the 90s goes down. Yeah, and they're like, the fuck happened?
Yeah, absolutely. I love, there's a shot when after Jack O'Hara, after Frank Stallone gets, like, he arrives at the airport, he gets in a car and like drives away. The camera like moves down to the tire of the car as it drives away. And as the car leaves, it drives out of shot and the sky is revealed behind the car and the auto iris freaks out for like 10 seconds. It's like trying to adjust because it was like, oh, it's dark, and then now it's like, too much light. You can just see it like adjusting.
Too many lumens.
It's very bad. Too many lumens.
Oh no!
He's like,
no, too many lumens.
I forgot about that. What the fuck was that from?
The Hideaway Mysteries.
Oh yeah, they made a sequel to that. It's out. Oh boy.
Where'd you learn to fight like that?
I was homeschooled.
Anyways, so he's arrived now and he's putting together his mercenary team. We're introduced to everybody else on his mercenary team.
You son of a bitch! I'm in.
I'm in. Which is like Spike, I think, is one of their names.
He's like the tech dude. They have a Russian guy.
They have a Russian Boris.
He just kills people.
Yeah, it's Boris. Then they have a hot lady mercenary who I can't remember her name.
August,
played by David Carradine's daughter, Clarita Carradine, something like that. She's also in the sequel, even though we don't see what happens.
Yeah, I thought she died. She doesn't even show up.
We just don't see what happens to her, so I think they just brought her back for the sequel. Well, so I don't know. We'll see when we watch the sequel one day.
All right.
But she's like the badass, sexy, like she like uses her sex appeal to like get in with like do secret agent shit or whatever. And then I think there's one other person that I can't recall who. That doesn't matter. Doesn't anyway. So there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
But they've been hired in for the job, and I gotta talk about. I don't know what they're doing, but they send them to break into somebody's house. The lady goes. Posing as like a makeup salesperson.
I think they need the ID badge off of the woman because that's.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
And the guy is just happenstance.
He's just there. Yeah.
So she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna test. See if you're interested in testing out this new perfume. Here's some like acid in your face.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it knocks her out or kills her. We're not really sure, but she like falls over, and then the guy comes in and tries to help, and he just drop kicks her in the face. I was like, how did he not? He like kicks her right in the side of the head as the mercenary chick is sitting there. But then they get into a fight and they roll into the kitchen.
Like Infinite kicks him.
Yeah, she kicks the shit out of him in this kitchen, which is truly psychotically decorated.
It's like the 50s almost.
It's all white with a blue floor, like an electric blue floor, and all the trim on everything is like electric blue. It's so insane. I was like, I would lose my mind if I had to live in that kitchen. Are you kidding me?
It feels like this is the quote unquote kitchen of the future in like a display from back
like
in the
1949 or something like that. Yeah. No kitchen of the future. Never mind. I'm not even gonna do it. Not even gonna do it. Oh boy. Then we cut randomly. I have to mention this to Drake and his main friend from the Total Force. I can't remember that guy's name. Maybe like Jameson or something like that. There's one of the other guys. But
they're all as generic as can be.
Yeah, they're chatting and like walking on a bridge, and they're just like clearly riffing about their time in Prague.
Oh my God.
It's my mom. I can't answer it. Sorry, Mom. I'll set that to silent.
There's something about Prague.
They're like reminiscing about Prague, but it's so clear that they're like the director was just
just talk about Prague.
Just talk about that time you were in Prague. They're like, what about it? Just
they had nothing. They had nothing to go.
Nothing.
I got food poisoning.
Yeah.
Prague. Fucking Prague.
This feels like a Neil Breen thing where they're just like, he just gives them something to talk about, and they have to make up dialogue.
Yeah, which boy, oh boy, does that happen a lot in the next episode, which we will be talking about. Little tease for that one. Then, so they cut back, and our military guys, our mercenaries, are invading the Wellington. They're doing their mission to break into Wellington research or whatever. And I love that it's the middle of the day and one of the guys is like, I still say doing this during daylight is insane. And the other guy's like, we need something to make it a challenge.
I still say going in during daylight's insane.
We need something to make it a challenge.
I was like, oh, clearly you wanted to film this at night and you were not able to get
you
rights.
either couldn't get the the security thing for people. You couldn't get the lights. There's multiple things.
There's something happened
Let's
where
just shoot this in there.
Let's just shoot it during the day. It'll be way easier. We don't have to get all the lights and shit. Let's just shoot it during the daytime. Well, we gotta have a line. Why would they do a special ops mission during the middle of
because that's what they least expect.
Afternoon. Yeah, exactly. We'll just add a line in about that. Okay, great. Then, so this is where some of these voiceovers start, but this is one of the first ones I noticed is they're like sneaking into the Wellington's research or the Wellington research facility, and as they're sneaking in, the voiceover pops in and says,
Jack O'Hara directs the terrorist infiltration of the Wellington research facility.
Yes, this is where it just is like what?
That's what we're watching.
Yes,
we're literally. You're just saying what it's like. It's almost like watching alt text on like Twitter or something.
I think they did like a little screening for people, and they were just massively confused on what was going on. And somebody was like, "Well, why don't we just do a little description of stuff?" And this whole film can feel like a debriefing from whose perspective?
Yeah, to who? Like it doesn't make any sense. And also, even if it was because people were confused, the things they explain in the voiceover don't help at all because they're just the most obvious things. Which it's like, here, this character that you know the name of is doing the thing that you see him doing. It's like if a voiceover came on during the episode, it was like, at this point, Brian Chiligo rants about the bad movie. It's like, yeah, man, I'm watching that happen.
Yes.
What is happening?
The only thing it was kind of helpful for was reinforcing the name of the random crew who nobody knows.
That is true. That is true. Because
like,
a couple
I didn't
times
know who Spike was beforehand, and they're like, "Here, Spike is trying to hack into the Neuroforce, like Neuralator,
or whatever thing." Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, so that's Spike. He's the tech guy. Got it.
Spike leaves Sector 13,
proceeding to Sector 14.
Meanwhile, the senator is inside schmoozing with two ladies, and we get some boobies for a minute, which is something.
So, 90s indie film tits, got it.
Boobs, you nailed it. They like start murdering everybody. I love one of my favorite moments of this is the big Russian guy Boris is fighting a dude, and he like knocks him out or something, and then gets him over his shoulders
and bends his back
like a firefighter carry
in the natural way it's supposed to bend.
Yeah, not like upside down. He breaks his back. It's so silly. It's so stupid. I mean, maybe that's possible. I don't know, but it's very funny. It seems like he just gave him like a chiropractic adjustment. It's like what just happened there.
Oh, thanks. That feels much better now.
Which also could kill you depending on the chiropractor. But at this point, I was like, I just realized I have absolutely zero idea what these mercenaries are breaking in to do. I know now because again, they do explain it later that they're basically keeping the general from destroying the Neuralator for Wellington, basically.
So they have to hack into the mainframe. Hack into the mainframe, Brian.
Yes, we're in. Downloading data stream.
The Neuralator mainframe.
So they hack in, and he gives the coordinates for a different satellite for them to, I guess, send information
to blow up.
And so they blow up an obsolete communications satellite, which I was kind of wanting because, like, Drake's crew had not been, I guess, informed at this time.
No, they're just like hanging out drinking.
I would have loved for them to be in like a bar.
Yeah.
And then they're watching the game. And then the signal goes out.
It's the satellite.
And then that's
TV.
what makes him, that's what drives him.
I gotta see how this Packers game ends. This means war. It'd be amazing. But I also, we get a little, this is one of the things you're talking about. We get a voiceover here where the narrator goes, Spike leaves Sector 13. And then after the narrator says that, Spike goes,
Spike leaves Sector 13.
Proceeding to Sector 14.
I'm heading to Sector 14 right after. And I'm like,
no shit.
Oh, why is the narration in the movie? It just says the thing. Oh my God. So infuriating.
Oh my God.
Then so we get like a big gunfight in the main room. They're like taking everybody captive, like in the main room where all like the generals and stuff are. And we keep getting in this big shootout in there. We get this like repeated first person view behind a hand holding a pistol, like waving around. I have no idea what that is or what it's supposed to be. It happens like twice. I'm like,
There's so many weird decisions about just how things are filmed or
it's insane.
The editing.
It's insane. So they blew up the wrong satellite. Then we cut and we're just watching Total Force sitting in a bar drinking and then getting into bar fights. I'm like, well, all right, great, amazing. And they get into this bar fight out in the alley at like 15 FPS. Just like they just beat the shit out of these random.
And the music
bar
is so weird here too.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Okay, so there's a lot of scenes where the music is like, we praise the ADR for being reasonable, but whoever mixed the score did an atrocious job.
Yes.
There's a lot of scenes where the volume of the score is just overshooting the people talking.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you just like come from a rodeo or something? No, what? Well, I'm smelling a bunch of bullshit all of a sudden.
So one of the generals, the general shows up or some whatever, and they're like, all right, hey, Drake, I know we kicked you out, but we need you back. Because what's his name? Wellington wants $1 billion.
Yes. I'm demanding $1 billion, Bill. And if you don't do that, I'm going to target the White House.
Why should I help you out? Drake, we really need you on this one.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The ask for him to do this was incredibly met. Like, it was so easy.
Yeah, it was so easy. He's just like, we need you. He's like, all right, I guess I'll do it then. All right, fine.
Okay, you got me.
Or we're receiving the message.
But they're going to target the White House with the Nur later, but first they're going to target downtown LA, which that never happens, by the way. So I thought that would have been fun at least.
I think the by the way. Okay, so also in this part where the this facility has been taken over by these terrorists, they have a news. Do you remember the news part?
I had the
so
news
they have
report.
They have a news report.
That's this part.
And the anchor who does a serviceable job.
The reporter.
He tosses to a reporter. She's the worst actress on the planet.
So good. I had a whole paragraph about this.
So her performance is incredible.
She's like, okay, so we're gonna show you some aerial footage in a minute. Oh, there we are.
It's kept top secret as a matter of national security. Actually, we're going to show you some aerial footage in a minute. Okay, wait, there we are.
And I was like, this is kind of like watching real local broadcast.
Were they like writing the script literally on like a white erase board? While they were like, here, say this, and say this here.
She says my favorite line. She's like, so there's the aerial footage. That's live.
And also, they're like, this is a top secret research facility. How the fuck do you know about that? How do you know that?
She says, my favorite line, the terrorists could be after whatever they do in there. Or they could just want money. We don't know.
The terrorists could be after whatever it is that they do in there, or they could just want money, Roger. We don't know.
Amazing reporting. Incredible. They could be after whatever they do in there.
Whatever those terrorists do.
It's incredible. Oh, I love it. And then right after that, we get a crazy satellite call between the president and the general.
The
president looks like he's on a fucking bender, man. He's like, this man just did a whole giant line off the table. It's like, all right, so what are we? We got to take care of this. The election's coming up. It's insane. It's amazing.
I'm talking about my re-election and your goddamn career. And in the light of that, Teleforce is expendable, don't you think?
Meanwhile, we cut back inside, and Jack O'Hara is talking to Boris, and the voiceover comes on and says, "Oh, 900 hours. Jack O'Hara speaks with Boris." We're watching that happen, Kyle.
It's happening right now.
Literally, they're talking. Just let them talk. I don't need you to tell me that that's happening. It's insane.
0900. Jack O'Hara speaks with Boris.
Right.
Then it sounds like at one point, maybe I'm incorrect about this, but there's a phone call between Wellington and the Admiral, and it seems like they're actually secretly working together.
They're trying to make a deal.
Yeah, right? Or something?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what was going on there.
Basically, like, we're going to blow up the facility once you're clear. Money's been wired to you. your history has been scrubbed.
Yeah. And he's like, and it sounds almost like the Admiral's kind of working with them, but then that's not the direction it goes later. So they just blow. I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah.
The president has agreed to your demands.
Smart man. I should have voted for him.
So then Drake and Total Force show up and just murder everybody in like 2 seconds. Just roll through and murder. And this has one
from
of my
here until the end. It's just literally nonsense scenes that have no connection.
Yeah, just people shooting and dying and explosions and nonsense chaos. There's this shot where, I don't remember, it's one of the Total Force guys. He's got his M16 and he does the thing where he jumps out from behind a corner and he like squats down and like waves he's not shooting, but he's like checking. It's like I can't. Here, I gotta.
Oh no.
So imagine this is, I don't know if this is gonna
please
work
don't
or
hit
not,
the camera or the equipment.
But he comes around the corner and he's like, and he swings the gun around a lot, and it's very, something about it, it's like a classic bad movie thing, and I just love it so much.
Well, he just really needs to make sure that everywhere he looks, there's not somebody to shoot, but he has to be very intense.
And you have to squat.
Go over the same spot over and over and over.
And squat. It's the squatting that gets me. It just cracks me the fuck up. Then, right after this, they shoot a bunch of people that fall off of high things, but it's the same, like, 3 locations. So you have to, because you keep seeing the same, like, different guys falling from the same spot, and it's like a video game where, like, they kill a guy, and then he falls off, and then another guy spawns from the same spot and runs up, and they shoot that guy, and he falls off. And clearly what happened is they had 3 places set up with like crash pads for people to jump off of, and so they just shot them all in those same 3 spots
I
over
like
and over.
the idea that a guy gets shot down and the guy coming in is like, hey, by the way, they were at a Cherry Coke. Oh
God, fuck. I got you Cherry Coke Zero, is that okay? Oh, fuck me. Cherry Coke Zero didn't exist yet, it's the 90s.
They had a Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi, yeah. Absolutely. So then I love they get on the roof. The 2 hackers get into like a shootout with each other, and they start like riffing about their taxes and shit, and they become friends. Kyle.
Can they take any taxes out of your pay? No. Cash and carry, brown bag. Why?
This is my favorite twist in the whole movie.
God.
This is actually legitimately my favorite thing about this movie is that all of a sudden at the end here, all of the mercenary guys are fighting different members of Bravo or Total Force or whatever. And then they all just become friends and realize they should work together and or fuck. Because what's her name is August is fighting a dude, and then just halfway through the fight, they just start fucking.
Let's just get that. The guy's even like, lady, I'm busy trying to save you.
Well, no, because initially she's like, I got an idea, and he's like, he thinks she's gonna like try to hit on him, but actually she's gonna beat the shit out of him.
Hey, look, baby, can't you see I'm busy right now?
Oh yeah, we'll see about that.
But then they
get into it.
Out of each other. They actually start.
It is that trope like what haters turn lovers or whatever.
Yeah, enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. There we go.
Yeah, but it's everybody, and so like the 2 hackers are become like best buds, talking about how they don't get paid enough or whatever, and then Jack O'Hara and Drake are like fighting each other, but then they like become friends because they have to fight off a bunch of zombies.
Yes, and God, by the way, you can tell whoever they rented these guns from. These were like the third, like the half off guns. Like these are the cheapest shit. There's a scene where he's changing out a mag, and the gun looks like it had been through hell and back.
Got the shit beat out of it. Absolutely. I also love that one of the prostitutes from earlier gets the rage virus and just murders one of the Total Force guys, snaps his neck. It's incredible. I love it so much. Oh God. So they all decide they just need to work together to get out of there because Wellington's gonna missile.
Yeah, there's a missile strike inbound.
Well, the Admiral shot a missile.
Drake, you've got to get out of there. The missiles are in the air.
Thanks for the tip, Admiral, but why all the hardware? We could have blown Neuralator for you.
I think.
Wellington basically sold them both out.
Yeah, and he's flying away in a helicopter.
Yes.
And then they were able to somehow hack into the back door of
the
Neuralator.
They overcharged it, so when it fires, it blows up. And then somehow the Neuralator, instead of just affecting the brain, just became a death laser.
That's what because I was like, what the fuck? They shoot it at his helicopter just explodes. I'm like, well, that's not what the Neuralator does.
Yeah.
What the hell? It's so stupid. But yeah, they just blow up his helicopter. Meanwhile, the entire base is just getting hit by missiles, so it's like exploding everywhere, and they're shooting zombies, and there's explosions, and they're running, and it's chaos. It's absolute nonsense. But they're all able to get away, except for, again, we don't see August get away.
No,
but she is in the sequel that I saw.
They do shoot the dude she was like getting busy with.
Yeah, the guy she was having sex with gets killed by one of the other zombies or something like that.
Zombies with guns.
Yes. So they randomly start using, because before this they've never used guns, and then this final scene they're like, nah.
Oh my God, they're learning, they're evolving.
Yeah. So they all run away, and then they all get to like this pier that's like a secret passageway out of the research facility, and they have a moment where they chit chat, and they're like, you know what? I don't like you, but I fucking respect you.
I'll make you a deal, Drake.
What is it?
You go your way and I'll go mine.
Whatever.
And they said if we need to meet up again, I got a location.
In Prague.
Prague.
What a callback.
By the way, we don't acknowledge.
No.
Like Drake and the other dude do not acknowledge the callback to Prague.
Fucking Prague. They don't do anything like that. Yeah. But they're like, okay, and they just walk away and the movie ends. I'm like, oh, all right. That's a weird kind of anticlimactic ending, other than all the explosions. I don't know, Kyle. What do you think?
I'm kind of on the edge of bad, just because the cinematography is so nauseating.
It's so infuriating and hard to watch. It literally gives you a headache. There's parts in the middle that are boring. The end is kind of fun. There's some other elements.
The news report is the best part.
The news report is absolutely the best part. That poor woman, like she's being forced to act at gunpoint, man. It is incredible.
You look
so
off camera, you've just like a puppy being threatened.
Yeah. It's incredible. I love it so much. But overall, I would say you could probably skip this one. It's probably a bad, especially if you don't want to migrate from.
I'll give Absolute Force a watch.
Can't wait.
Maybe we'll get to Prague.
Force. Maybe if we go to Prague. I'm down for it. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, you can do us a giant favor by heading over to patreon.com/GBRBB and support us there, where you get access to all kinds of fun, different stuff. I have a podcast called This Film Is Lit, where we talk about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, our most recent episode will have been There Will Be Blood.
That's a good movie.
Based on the book Oil! With an exclamation point.
Nice. That is a great movie.
Yeah, I have not seen it, actually.
You're in for a treat.
I'm very excited to watch it for the first time. It's one of those I just never got around to seeing, and I've been wanting to watch it for a long time.
Daniel Day-Lewis is fantastic.
Yes. I've enjoyed him in everything else I've seen him in, but I'm excited to see this one. So that's what's on This Film Is Lit. We also have a merch store. You go to tpublic.com and you can buy a t-shirt.
Hey,
just like
this
that. One. It's so soft. It feels so good. No, we don't own the rights to the Goonies, unfortunately. Not yet, Kyle. Not yet.
The good, bad, or bad universe is growing.
Just randomly add the Goonies IP to our. We just spend like
it's
$250 million.
It's nothing else with Spielberg, right?
I believe so, yeah.
It's nothing else from the universe. There's no Gremlins or anything. Just the Goonies.
Just the Goonies. Just Data.
We got Sean Astin on standby.
I have to imagine that after Everything Everywhere All at Once was so big that the actor who plays Data is in that and it's like his big resurgence, that there's no way they're not working on a Goonies sequel with all the adults.
Sure.
Sean Astin.
What's he doing right now?
Yeah, get the whole band back together.
He's working on Rudy too.
I bet Rudy too. Even Rudier. He's shorter and less good at football. That's gonna do it for this episode. Until next time, keep watching movies.
Just not Total Force.
Total Force. Bye. Go watch Rudy too.